seeded teams winning each time. There are reasons for all of those. The most recent, Virginia taking down a weakened Wake Forest team 2-0 in Winston-Salem. For Pitt, they're not 100% yet. Still 2 regulars missing due to COVID protocols. But you see the alignment. Valentin Noel has done so well since moving up front. And Veljko Petkovic will be trying to play him in behind that Duke backline tonight. On the Duke side, Nick Periano, the youngest player at 17, handed his second start and a little more responsibility. He's one of their most technical players. He and Peter Stroud will be trying to set the tone for that Duke press this afternoon. The state of North Carolina hosting the ACC Men's Soccer Championship this year. Duke and Pitt squaring off in Raleigh for the final spot in the semifinals, trying to join Clemson, Notre Dame, and Virginia, winners earlier today. Pitt in white, again, reached number 1 in the country at 5-0, but a lightning delay at Louisville on October 23rd. That was their last game, and they think that's where COVID got spread, and it went throughout the team. Had to shut down and cancel their last 2 games, 2 home games. They were hoping to actually play some home games. And they are back close to full strength. Again, missing Burton Jackson, who's been one of their keys on the right wing this year. And Jay Vidovic has had to deal with a whole lot of issues this year. He's called it a jigsaw puzzle. And so far, so good on the field. Pitt 5-0. And they'll have a goal kick here at the back. There's Jay Vidovic, longtime Wake Forest head coach, as you see, now his 5th season at Pitt. And he appears on his way to making them into the newest powerhouse on the men's soccer scene. First NCAA tournament win ever last year in their 3rd all-time appearance. Reached the ACC semifinals for the first time. And now a team, again, ranked number 1 in the country, unbeaten, and fun to watch. They're not just dominant. They play high-scoring games. They haven't had a shutout all year. They win 3-2, 4-2, 3-2, 4-1. We're expecting some goals today. And these teams played last year. It was a 4-3 thriller. Duke, a much different looking team this year, younger, as this cross goes into the back post and is headed away there by Rafael Crivelo, the left back. It'll be a corner kick for Duke on the front foot early. This is Nick Periano. He's out of the Philadelphia Union Academy. Began the year in the starting lineup. Bit of an injury. They held him out and brought him off the bench. He starts here in their biggest game of the season. Sent back in by Daly. This is dangerous, but headed wide of the target by Scotty Taylor. Here's a look at Periano's first opportunity on a set piece today, and the follow-up wide by Taylor. Now here's the Duke press. You're going to see this all day. Royal blue jerseys surrounding white ones. And how Pitt handles that will largely determine where the scoring chances come from in this game. Foul whistled early. And there's John Kerr Jr. Adopted this pressing system this year to suit his personnel. And they've really thrived playing up tempo. I know they're 2-5, but again, playing in the region they were playing in, and given the youth of this team, it's teenagers scattered throughout the lineup, is pretty impressive. I mean, Pitt, most of its starters are 21, 22, even 23. We told you, Duke has a 17-year-old, 4 18-year-olds, and a 19-year-old. Now this game played down the road at NC State, where Duke won earlier this year. And Duke not allowing fans for its home games, as you see the referee, Soren Stoika. This is one of the rare occasions Duke families and friends have been able to travel to games. First start of the year, by the way, for Luke Mort on the right side for Pitt. Again, we told you Jacasson not available. This is play behind the back line. Alexander Dexter chasing number 13. But the flag up. It'll be a Duke free kick. You got some fans, some from Duke and some from Pitt, able to make the trip and remain socially distanced inside the building. Just player pass list only. And Will Pulisic, the veteran goalkeeper for Duke, will restart here. Antino Lopez, one of those freshmen going forward. Duke has been more exciting to watch, more dynamic, but still not an overwhelmingly high-scoring team. Their front runners, Taylor, Wright, and Doran, not the overwhelming goal totals. And it's this midfield that really sets the tone for Duke. Here's Periano. Cross took a deflection. Little uncertainty as to who would deal with it. One back by Lewis McGarvey. He tried it himself from distance and didn't put it close. But turnovers in those spots are exactly what Duke is looking for. McGarvey, the 18-year-old from Belfast. Heartbroken, like so many from his country, at the elimination at the hands of Serbia in the Euro qualifying playoffs. This is Peter Stroud with the steal. He'll try it himself, and Nico Campesano down to his right to make the first save of the game. But I mean, it's been all Duke played in this half of the field. Everything tilting west toward the softball field in Raleigh. Counterattack, flag is up again against Dexter. This is the 8th meeting between the teams since Pitt joined the ACC, and Duke 5-1-1 in those games. Pitt's 4-3 win last year was its first against Duke. Duke has scored first in all 7 of those, and all of those opening goals have come in the first 25 minutes. So keep an eye on this early stretch. Again, this is a bit of a different Duke team, but it's still striking how often they've jumped out on top in the early going. Long ball for Valentin Noel. Headed clear by Daly, and now they'll bring it over for the foul in the corner. And this is a big decision early. It's a yellow card to Antino Lopez. And the Pitt concern is for Valentin Noel, the sophomore from France. Yeah, that's 2-footed. That's risky and dangerous. Noel was a holding mid last year, played some right back early this year, but when Pitt's leading scorer, Edward Kiza, was dismissed from school in September, they just found out a day before their game at Notre Dame. They took the next week in training and converted Noel to a center forward. Whether he's a false 9 or a true 9, it's been working. 5 goals on the year and 4 starts up top. So Lopez on a yellow card now for the rest of the game, number 5. Noel apparently okay. And Pitt with his early free kick. It's been a bright spot for the Panthers. Free kicks. Veljko Petkovic, the sophomore from Queens, New York, stands over it. Over everything, and a bit frustrated for Petkovic. 3 goals, 3 assists as the main playmaker. Hometown listed as Serbia, but he grew up in Queens, went to Maspeth High School, and played for the New York City FC Academy, where they had so much success. Back-to-back under-19 national titles. That's with Gio Reyna and some others. Those players littered throughout ACC rosters. Hit into the attack here, and you can see how few numbers they leave back. The right back, Jasper Luffelsund, will really get forward, the blonde number 2. And so you could see how isolated the center backs were when the ball turned over. Arturo Ordóñez, sophomore from Spain, plays that wide. There's Luffelsund. 5 assists in 5 games. Grad student from Cologne. No other American college experience. He'd just been playing in the Middle Rhine Amateur League. That's the state amateur league in Germany. And he's 23, so it's his first, and I guess he's got another year likely with available to him next year with eligibility. This is Crivelo, the left back from France. Ahead for Dexter. Alexander Dexter had the game winner last year in that 4-3 comeback. Senior from Brooklyn, but he spent his high school years in Kaiserslautern, Germany, with his family involved with the United States Army. Jackson Walty, number 24. Now Pitt settling into some possession really for the first time today. Now, fans, you can get the latest news and information from the ACC each morning and hear from special guests from all around the conference with Packer and Durham, weekdays 7 a.m. Eastern on the ACC Network and the ESPN app. Jay Vidovich has been on this year. Valentine Noel was just on this week. And presumably, the winner of this game might have somebody on tomorrow, Tuesday or Wednesday, in preparation for the semifinal. The winner of this game will play Notre Dame. And it'll either be here if Pitt wins, or if Duke should win, it'll be over in Chapel Hill. Daniel Wright slaloming, thought he got taken down, but no call. Jack Doran fighting to win it back. And Duke will take the attacking free kick. They've had some success at this end of the Dale Soccer Stadium. That's a straight up dive as we look back at it. Nobody touched Daniel Wright. And if Soren Stoica had seen it the same way, it might have been a yellow card. That's pretty brazen to just drop a dive 12 minutes into an ACC quarterfinal. Outside the box, no less. And at any rate, Duke has the free kick. Peter Stroud sent that one behind Ian Murphy, the left back. Clearly designed play that didn't go as executed, or wasn't executed as drawn up. Otherwise, though, you'd have to say this start has been exactly what Duke has been looking for. Stroud, 18-year-old from northern New Jersey, from the Del Barton School. Spent the last couple years, though, with West Ham United after coming through the Red Bulls Academy. His older brother, Jared Stroud, now playing with the Red Bulls first team. Stroud 14 and Periano 18 will cover some serious ground in this one. pressuring for Pitt, the deepest midfielders. Walty, number 24, and Mirkovic, number 21, on the ball right now. There's Periano, part of that Philadelphia Union Academy that has yielded such dividends in the form of the Supporters Shield this year. He moved from Ann Arbor, Michigan, where he was playing for the Wolves Club, to Philadelphia as Matthias Frick picks up a yellow. He's saying that's my first foul. It's not going to matter. Both Duke center backs now on yellows, despite the bright start. So it'll be interesting to see if Pitt can challenge those two to again play responsibly with the yellow card and avoid being sent off. Will Pulisic seems to never miss a game. Now a senior, took a gap year with Borussia Dortmund. He was there with his cousin Christian. He's played for the U.S. at the Under-17 World Cup. And now 4 years at Duke, where he's seen a lot of shots. They've been up against it more often than not. Petkovic, the left footer. Over the wall and tipped wide by Pulisic at full stretch. First key stop of the game. Great look at the bend on it. Maybe it was headed wide and off the post. Maybe not. Veljko Petkovic. In swinger, Pulisic punches. Walty goes back to that same corner. Periano is doing the defensive work. So you've got Mirkovic and Petkovic on the Pitt side. Raised in New York City. They pronounce it the Serbo-Croatian way with the itch at the end. You got Will Pulisic on the Duke side, who opts to pronounce it a more Americanized way. Also raised in the States. Here's Dexter against Amir Daly, another freshman. Driven by Lovelson and blocked in the penalty area by Frick. Bryce Washington settles this one at the back. There's the very active John Kerr Jr. National champion in 1986 with Duke. First American to go straight from college to the then first division in England. And now in his 13th year in charge of Duke. One son, Cameron, on the team. Daughter Alex plays at Vanderbilt. They had a 4-0 win earlier today, so that's a good start to the day for the Kerr family. And the other son, Drew, is a high-level club player still in high school. So second corner coming for Pitt here, trying to respond to that aggressive early pressure from Duke. Fourth of 4 quarterfinals in the ACC. Rounding out the night. Everybody watching this as the service comes in and Pulisic calls and punches. Petkovic driven it low. Came right back out off the boot of Lopez. You can hear the cries from the field of Luffel, so I guess we know what they call Jasper Luffelson. Here he is on the ball. How many shoot first right backs do you find? Pitt certainly got themselves one. They win it back here. Luffelson. Washington and Ordonez have switched for the moment. '18th minute in Raleigh. Pitt on the attack, but this one runs to Pulisic in the Duke goal. Neutral site for Pitt, trying to advance to the semifinals to take on Notre Dame against the underdog Duke squad that comes in 2-5 after playing in the toughest region you could ever ask for in the South, with Wake, with UNC, with Clemson, and with NC State. Jonathan Yardley with you. We have a few technical problems that just speak to the year 2020, keeping Lori Lindsay from joining us, but she's standing by at the ready. Duke got off to a bright start, pressing Pitt. Had 3 of the first 4 shots, but the Panthers have started to calm down and deal with things. Jay Vidovich only has 6 available subs for this, a goalkeeper and 5 field players. He's still got more to work with in terms of his first choice players than Wake Forest did in falling 2-0 to Virginia. Gave a pretty good account of themselves, Wake Forest. Amir Daly sends that one off target. Some discussion after that. It was given as a corner kick, and I think everybody from both teams was a little taken aback by that. But Luke Mort blasts that to midfield, where Daly, one of those Duke freshmen, will restart for the Blue Devils. 7-9-2 last year. Lost in the first round of the ACC tournament to NC State, and so they are young. 11 freshmen coming in. Daly, Lopez, McGarvey, Stroud, Periano all start. And they're not the 21-year-old international freshmen either. They're all 18, or in Periano's case, 17. They have some older guys as well. Doran, Wright, Matthias Frick at the back, and Pulisic in goal. And they're relying on a lot of teenagers and believe the spring season and next year will be really bright for this group. Again, the lower seeded teams were seeded based on how they finished in their region. So South 1 plays North 4 and North 1 plays South 4, which is what we're seeing here. The lower seeded team that finished lower in the standings, albeit in the opposite region, has won every game today. And again, there are mitigating factors. Both North Carolina and Wake Forest dealing with a lot of COVID absences. Pitt's dealing with 2 as well today. And again, they just really got back into training on Thursday. But it's very interesting to see, and it's not too surprising. We've had years in the ACC where lower seeds have won. I think Clemson would have been considered a favorite. Notre Dame and Carolina was probably a toss-up. And once you knew who Wake Forest was missing, Virginia probably a slight favorite in that. Not that any of those were easy. Third corner from Pitt, near post. Lewis McGarvey clearing things away at the back for Duke. Averaging better than 3 goals a game and doing it against mostly, well, I guess all ACC competition. Their only non-conference game was against Notre Dame. A 3-1 Pitt win in the season opener, even after they found out Edward Kiza was out of school. I mean, last year Clemson averaged 3 goals a game for the season, but it was fattened up by some non-conference teams. Don't get me wrong, they were good in the ACC, but that kind of scoring margin really jumps out at you. And Clemson put up 4 in the opener today against Virginia Tech. Not going to be an easy mark this year. Noel to the turf, but you see he has been very instrumental to Pitt's success. 5 goals, 1 assist in the last 3 games. They've scored 11 in that time, so you can tell he's contributed to more than half. Doran playing it through. Stroud playing across, looking for Scotty Taylor. Dealt with well by Bryce Washington at the back. Here's a look at the pressure applied by Duke. Stroud started it, then got it back. And Washington, out of the Atlanta United Academy, able to slide in at just the right time. Here's Stroud, though, winning it back. Again, you talk about the players. They have Scotty Taylor up front, Peter Stroud in the midfield, and Amir Daly at the back, all from the Red Bulls Academy. And Nick Periano in the middle from the Philadelphia Union Academy. Those are all known pressing systems where the youth teams press just the way the first team does. And it's really paid off for Duke this year. Here's McGarvey. Out for a Duke throw. Free kick coming. Scotty Taylor drew it, posting up Arturo Ordonez. Soren Stoica, very experienced official with the whistle. And Periano, number 18, he might be 17. He was born in 2003. If you want to feel old for a minute. He's taken dead balls all year. He's been responsible for a lot when he's come in, but they put him in the starting lineup today in their biggest game of the year, and he'll deliver this as well. Right into the hands of Campesano after nobody in royal blue could get to it. Campesano, grad transfer from Portland. Bounced around a lot in Spain, but spent 2 years with Barcelona. And before coming to the States, he was with the reserves of Las Palmas. And then 2 years with Portland, and now pursuing his master's degree in information security. Seems like a good field of study these days. Periano turned the corner, drives it low, and well found. by Mirkovic. As Periano had targets there. Daly gonna chase this one. Well done by Ordonez to not give up a corner, but it turns back to Duke. Ian Murphy. Ended up somewhere between a cross and a shot, and really effective as neither. That's given away. That's the center back Lopez stepping up onto it. And if you're Pitt, you're saying, yeah, we look like we haven't played in 3 weeks. Just about 3 training sessions with most of the group in. Everybody goes down here. The foul has been given in Duke's favor. But Zoran Stojka is going to have to hear some opinions about it. Has he not stopped the clock yet? Clock's still running as we look back at this challenge. So the call is that Taylor got the ball and then got crashed into. And it's a dangerous spot for Duke. Daniel Wright, number 7, a couple days shy of his 22nd birthday. It's Wright, top of the net. Didn't get it all the way down, and we remain scoreless. Boy, Pitt trying to play out of the back and almost gave that away. Noel coming back to win it for Pitt, and they need that. They need a bit of possession here. It's Dexter. So used to combining with Kiza. ACC teams worried about them all season. Again, Edward Kiza dismissed from school, from the university, the day before their opening game at Notre Dame. Not a whole lot more anyone else or I have been able to find out about why, as that's played out for a Pitt corner. 30th minute in the final ACC men's soccer quarterfinal. Winner will face Notre Dame in the semifinals Wednesday night. Clemson and Virginia will meet in the other semifinal. From the block, here's Daniel Wright. Went close with the free kick a minute ago, trying the big switch. Luffelsund calmly, maybe too calmly, back to Campesano with Scotty Taylor lurking. Now, a reminder, the college basketball season is right around the corner, and our Nothing But Net season preview shows will have you covered, looking at all 15 men's teams on Thursday at 8, all 15 women's teams Friday at 7, with Muffet McGraw, the former Notre Dame head coach, joining us here on the ACC network. Also available, of course, on the ESPN app. Nothing But Net, getting you ready for basketball season. Great work by Periano, got over the goalkeeper, and it was Ordonez there to cover Nico Campesano. Really some nervous moments for Pitt in this first half. And again, they're used to playing open. They're used to facing some pressure at the back. But they don't seem at their best, and they'll have to defend another free kick here from the right wing. very tight offside line with Periano leaning and then able to lob it over Camposano, but not really threaten the net. Soren Stojka can talk all day. Periano will take these with both feet from anywhere on the field. Ready for action. Left that a little bit short though. You'll notice neither team has used a sub yet. 33rd minute. That's in stark contrast to some of the earlier games. Pitt especially rarely uses more than 3 substitutes in a game, and again, they're missing 2 regulars due to COVID protocols. And as I say that, they're lining up the subs as if we were on the same page. Noel on the run. Cut back. Dexter tried to turn and wound up sending it straight to Pulisic. It was Petkovic making the outside run. He's the playmaker they want in this situation. Makiza, or beg your pardon, Dexter unable to bring it in. Mort was behind him, but didn't give him a shout, it appeared. Dexter kind of looking at him like, if you got a better angle, tell me. Jack Doran brings this one down. Inside looking for McGarvey, broken up by Walty, and the break is on for Pitt. Back to Noel. Slotting it through. Jackson Walty onside and inside the corner. Jackson Walty puts Pitt on top. He stole the ball to start the play, and boy did he finish it at the other end. Will Pulisic got a hand to it, but could only push it into the side netting off the foot of Jackson Walty. First goal of the year for Walty, and yeah, you think he's pumped up? And of course, Valentin Noel set him up from that 9 roll. And how about Walty, the holding mid, starting the play and converting it at the other end. Stephen O'Connell and Connor Kelly in for Duke. They were set to check in anyway. This is O'Connell trying to get the cross in. Nico Macri in as well for Duke. .35th minute, and Pitt now in front on the Walty goal. Stroud racing to this one, first to it for Duke, cutting it back. Arriving is right, it's off the crossbar. So close for Duke to an instant response. Stroud, tremendous burst of speed there, and picked out the exact right pass but Daniel Wright couldn't get the finish right. Under some pressure, it should be said. 6 shots for each team now officially. Duke continuing to go forward. O'Connell. 2 against 2. Luffelson playing on the ground. And it'll be given as a corner kick. So close for Daniel Wright and Duke to tying the game. And Wright had the free kick that went high earlier. He'll take the corner. Periano was one of those who came out. Wright delivers. Bending it in and tipped away by Campazano. Almost an Olympic go from Wright. This is intentional, I have to believe, the way he shaped that. Second save for Nico Campazano, the 22-year-old. This will be an outswinger now from Wright. Again, set play. Driven from distance, well over the top. Duke threatening a little bit, though. Good response by the Blue Devils to going behind. And Christopher Gardarson, who usually handles all set pieces, any and all set pieces when he's in the game, will replace Wright. Here's Matt Bailey in off the bench for Pitt. To the left foot, and Matthias Frick shoves him out for a goal kick. Bailey is senior. He's played some important minutes for Pitt this year, a couple of starts. Transferred from UMBC. Now the winner of this one plays a Wednesday night against Notre Dame. We don't know which game is which time just yet. You can check out the ACC Network Twitter feed. You can check out the ACC website to figure out which game is in which time. Clemson against Virginia and Notre Dame against the winner of this one. Both Wednesday night, 6 and 8 here on the ACC Network and the ESPN app. Dallin Cuff, Charlie Davies will have one game. I'll have one with Lori Lindsay, technology permitting. And we will look forward to those on Wednesday night. And then the final Sunday on ESPNU from Wake Med Soccer Park in Cary. Jen Hildreth and Lori Lindsay on the call for that one. Connor Kelly through the middle for Duke, lining it up low and driving it just wide. Duke getting forward often in this first half with an edge in shots, but trailing on the scoreboard. Kelly's one of those 22 in the middle who's really thrived in the high pressure system. He's been starting when Periano hasn't. And he and Stroud, 22 and 14, closing down opponents quickly. And really breathed life into this Duke program. Of course he's from Jersey. Although he did go to CBA. I won't hold it against him. We're giving love to all things Jersey on this show, especially on the campus where Tab Ramos once played. Clear foul against O'Connell. It'll be a Pitt free kick at the back. We will get a clock stoppage and some attention for Jasper Luffelson. Cathedral bells a little early on this Sunday evening, but I guess appropriate. As Luffelson gets looked at. If you've missed the action today, 3 games already in the books, and we'll have some highlights for you in our halftime report. We'll also show you Jackson Walty's goal that has Pitt in front. Jay Vidovich knows a thing or two about ACC tournaments, but trying to take Pitt into uncharted territory this year. Aside from just about everything about this year being uncharted territory. We don't expect this to be all of the scoring, by the way. Duke and Pitt have combined to play 12 games this year. There's only been 1 shutout when Duke beat NC State in overtime in Durham. So we expect more goals, but they may not come until the second half. John Kerr was glad his family could make it over to this one. Again, Duke hasn't been allowing fans at Koskinen Stadium, but the pass list eligible to enter over in Raleigh. Sophie Jones and the Duke women here. John Kerr was out at the Duke women's ACC semifinal on Friday. I think that was one of the big headaches for John Kerr, was sorting out the pass list when we talked to him. He said, I got to figure out who's allowed to bring who. Back to goal play from McCree. .42nd minute, and the top-ranked team in the country, Pitt, playing its first game in 3 weeks, has definitely looked rusty at times, but has a 1-0 lead. Jackson Walty, number 24 in the middle, wearing the armband, with the goal in the 34th minute. Dexter being held by Daly, no call, and Duke able to clear and take a throw-in. There's Walty. He's from Switzerland, but spent high school in the U.S. at Montverde Academy, which is another one that produces so many ACC players. 3rd year as a starter now. Stroud and Kelly combining. Daly. Boy, Kelly took him toward the sideline, didn't give him a lot of room. The cross still comes in. Second ball. Tussle back and forth between Daly and Dexter, and it'll be a Pitt free kick. Pitt looks ready for halftime. See if Duke can turn the screws and find another chance late in this first half. Mirkovic felled while trying to avoid that pressure. Not a big foul disparity. 8 fouls against Duke, 6 against Pitt, but that's 3 yellow cards to Duke as Stephen O'Connell picks one up. Clearly very late on Filip Mirkovic. And caught him with a rather full swing as well, which is for what the yellow card was given. Back in play now. Final 2 minutes of the first half. Again, Pitt #1 in the country, 5-0 on the season. Last 2 games, though, canceled due to COVID protocols. And another foul late, and Soren Stoika wants a word. He's calling Matthias Frick, the captain, all the way up from center back to warn him. This is interesting. He's called both captains in, Frick and Walty. We told you it's not a huge foul disparity, but Soren Stoika has taken exception to the Duke ones, 3 yellow cards. And Matthias Frick relaying instructions to the teammates. I don't think other teams around the league would refer to Duke as a dirty team, but aggressive certainly with the way they press and harass you looking for the ball. Kelly. Oh, that was a last-second intervention by Ordonez getting into that passing lane. Final minute of the first half in our 4th quarter final. Stroud dug it out. Duke still going. That's over hit and will run out. O'Connell frustrated with himself for the weight of that pass. Go hear the referee Stoika saying, "Let's go, keep," and you could hear the teammates in Pitt white saying, "Take your time, Nico." Meanwhile, there was a ball available behind the goal the whole time. Pretty good start from Duke, and not a bad first half, but the final third is where the payoff comes, and Pitt got that, and even not probably at full strength, leads 1-0 at halftime here in quarterfinal number 4 in the ACC men's soccer tournament. Jackson Walty's goal in the 34th minute. The difference in this one right now, 24 in white, just onside and just inside the post. Pitt 1, Duke 0 at halftime of our 4th quarter final. Highlights coming up on the halftime report. Getting ready to start the second half in Raleigh. Pitt 1, Duke 0 in the ACC quarterfinals. We don't think the scoring's done. We don't think this is finishing 1-0. And the reason we think that is last year at Pitt, this was a thriller. Pitt was all over the place in the first half. Jay Vidovich said, "I didn't recognize my own team." Duke was blowing him out. Duke in white in this game last year was up 3-0 in the first half, but Lori, Pitt found a way back.
And there's a never say die attitude. They continue to chip away at the lead, found themselves tying at 3-3, and then overtime win at 4-3. And his only goal that Walty scored last year, and we see him as the difference maker tonight in this game.
Walty, the tying goal. Dexter, the winner last year, the first time Pitt had ever beaten Duke. And you know the memories of that one are strong on both sides. Walty, a goal in that game, a goal here. As Pitt and Duke return to the North Carolina State field here at the Dale Soccer Stadium. Periano and Petkovic, a little Eastern Conference MLS rivalry talk there between academy foes. Underway in the second half. Pitt 1, Duke nothing. A spot in the ACC semifinals on the line from Raleigh, North Carolina tonight. Jonathan Yardley, so glad to have Lori Lindsay, the former All-American at Virginia, with me in this second half. Lori, what did you make of the first half, and what adjustments are you looking for in this second?
Well, I thought Duke was excellent in the first half with their press. We knew they were going to come out, press that back line for Pitt, see if they could cough up balls, and they did that, but they have to do better when it comes to taking their chances. So many opportunities with turnovers, with how they're defending. Now they at least got to get their opportunities on frame, force Campazano to at least make the save, and then the other side for Pitt. Can they continue to be more composed in the final third? They did a good job with Walty being able to make the run from the deep midfield position, continued on, was able to slot it past Pulisic. But now can they dictate the tempo, something that Jay Vidovich had talked about coming into this game, to slow things down and get this game more under control.
Veljko Petkovic, the cross, looking for Noel, who got there and hit Pulisic's legs. He didn't know anything about it, but he keeps it out. Valentin Noel almost struck again.
And this is what we're talking about in terms of dictating the tempo, getting numbers forward, controlling the ball, building out of the midfield. And Noel cannot believe that's not in the back of the net. He makes good contact, but he hits it right to Pulisic. Easy save in the end.
I'll give Pulisic a little more credit than I did initially. He did kick it away. It didn't just hit him, which is what I thought in real time.
And it was a good reactive save, but at the same time, Noel knows he has to do better right in front of the goal. Just put it either side.
Wide open is Noel in the middle. And Antino Lopez got a touch before that, but wide open we expected, and Duke looked wide open at the back early.
And Jonathan, those are the goals you have to put away, because then the game looks completely different. You go up 2-0 early in the second half, and you're really forcing to Duke to come out of their shape, continue to high press. That's when you see the space between the lines start to open up, where Pitt can be so deadly. Now it keeps Duke back in the game. And that's a good ball in from Petkovic. It's floated in behind the back line, bending into the path of Noel.
Settled by Lopez. Stroud. Blocked by Luffelsund, and what's the call? It is a corner, and Duke will send right over to take this in swinging. Remember, he almost scored straight from a corner in the first half. Wow, Periano could have gotten a yellow card there. Pitt trying to break. Look at the speed of Dexter. Periano right with him, lost out. Dexter beat one, sliding it, and Pulisic able to make the stop. But it is really opening up here, and we're just minutes into the second half.
And this is where Pitt can really hurt Duke on the quick transition, quick counterattack. Space is starting to open up in behind. Periano does well to get back, but then it's Dexter just using his little ability, craftiness to be able to beat Periano. Close call. Pulisic needed to hold on to that one. Otherwise, Noel was on the far post wide open.
That was a tremendous move he put on Ian Murphy. I mean, he had Murphy dead to rights.
And Jonathan, this game has such a tournament feel, much more than we saw in the North Carolina Notre Dame earlier. Back and forth, the physicality of this game, players taking risks. Just a different look between these two teams.
Luffelsund ahead for Matt Bailey. Returning the favor, the right back Luffelsund. Out for a corner kick. It's all happening, not a whole lot cagey or patient And we're only 5 minutes into the second half. This is what we came for.
And Loffelson, we know he likes to get up and down that right-hand side, create overloads. We didn't see much of that in the first half, primarily because Duke did a good job of pinning them in their defensive third, not letting Pitt out.
Bounces around. Pulisic clears with his feet. More nervous moments in the Duke penalty area.
And set pieces for both of these teams are an area that they knew they could take advantage of. This one just drops right in the middle of the box. Looks like it's off of Lopez for Duke. Pulisic does well to read it, just kick it out of danger.
Mirkovic. Loffelson.
Jonathan, with the start of this half, you almost get the sense that Pitt needed those first 45 minutes to settle in, haven't played for 3 weeks, just needed to get their rhythm back. Coming out, firing on all cylinders, getting players forward, creating numbers overload. Now it's Duke that's having a difficult time getting out of their own half.
Yeah, you wondered how the layoff would affect Pitt. 22 days since their last game, 2 home games canceled due to COVID protocols. Still not 100%. 2 contributors, including Burton Jackason, not available tonight. And shaky at times in the first half, vulnerable at times in the first half, but still in the lead and looking sharper early in the second. Again, Notre Dame and Pitt played in the Pitt season opener, 3-1 Pitt win in South Bend. And that's the potential semifinal opponent. And again, the talk all year was the South is the strongest region. It's so tough. It's much stronger than the North. We could end up with 3 North teams in the semifinal.
I think the North heard those rumors that were floating around.
That's one of the weaker penalty shouts I've seen. Levels end, sending it long. Daly let it go by. It'll be a Duke throw.
And you can see at this point in time, just with the physicality of this game, you're going to sell anything you can to get yourself an opportunity, get yourself equalize if you're Duke in and around the penalty spot.
To Jack Doran's credit, I didn't think he was selling anything. I think he went down, it happens. But his teammates were sure yelling for it right away, rather than try and get the ball back. We've all been there. How did tournament games for you, Lori, knockout games, feel different than the regular season when you were playing?
It's just the energy around them. You know that there's an intensity to the games. You have to get a result or you're going home. And so it's the emotions that are wrapped in it to be able to get the result. And that's when you start to see yelling for silly fouls or questionable calls right around the box. You look to sell things to the referee, any opportunity.
Did your inner monologue sound any different when you're playing one of these games? Oh, I gotta get this. We're going home if I don't.
Yeah, absolutely. But those are the differences between the players that can play at that level and the players that don't always succeed, is to be able to calm your nerves, be able to have that inner dialogue, but also be able to just calm yourself. and make sure that you are getting the job done and just doing the simple things.
Soren Stoica will bring that back for a Duke free kick. Duke still can't believe there haven't been any yellow cards to Pitt in this game. 3 to Duke, none to Pitt, and that's what the complaining is about, because obviously the foul was called.
And besides that foul, though, there was an opportunity for Doran to be able to play that through ball. He just hung on to the ball a little too long, ended up drawing the foul. There's another opportunity similar to that in the first half, Jonathan. I felt like if Duke played the ball a little bit earlier, the gap was open to find the space in behind Pitt's back line.
Bryce Washington easily won that header for Pitt. Peter Stroud with a mini temper tantrum on the field. And a yellow card for it. We've seen that more than once from him this year. Not exactly in that form. Soren Stoica with the slow walk to John Kerr. And his staff. He was addressing the wrong individual. Everybody wearing masks.
I like how stoic John Kerr's just sitting there pretending like he's not involved in anything.
Tell Michael Brady what to do, no problem. If that isn't one of the more 2020 things you've seen, a referee going to admonish the head coach and admonishing the wrong guy.
And we have no idea what's going on behind the masks.
Bailey first to it, gets it across, and Pulisic calls off Lopez. They've given that yellow officially to Scotty Taylor right now. I don't think that's right. I thought it was Stroud for the reaction, not for any of the actual plays. Duke now again sitting on 4 yellow cards. As Stroud drives forward, chance to shoot, and it's wasted. Real frustration from Duke, player after player, as Doran sent that high.
And Duke are getting their opportunities. They're finding some good space. Doran does well to just hold up his run, finds a good pocket of space in between the lines right on top of the box, and a good first touch to set him up, but then just slices underneath. It doesn't get anywhere near on goal. And those are the moments that come back to haunt you as the game wears on. You continue to create chances, but you get more and more frustrated when you can't put them away.
The bad part is Doran is what they consider one of their in-form finishers. Which tells you a bit about Duke's scoring woes at times this year. Taylor hadn't continued the run Periano was expecting, and it'll be a goal kick.
Jonathan, one of the areas coming to this game that Coach Kerr talked to us about for Duke was maximizing the width. And there is space out wide. If they can switch the point of attack, more opportunities are going to even open up for this Duke side.
That's given away from the goal kick, but hit so hot that Doran couldn't handle it. Periano driving low, rebound is loose, O'Connell puts it away, and Duke has tied it. Nothing easy in the ACC, and if Pitt's going to stay unbeaten, they're going to have to earn it.
Duke's done well these last 10 minutes or so. Weathered the storm the first few minutes coming into this game. But since it's opened up, they found some space in front of that back line for Pitt. this time Periano with a good save, forces Campazano to come up with a big save. And then O'Connell does well just to follow it up. Exactly what you want to do. Force the goalkeeper to make a save, have runners coming in behind for the rebound. Great goal from Duke Blue Devils.
Stephen O'Connell had just come on for Daniel Wright. It's his second goal of the year. He scored at Clemson as well. His mom was a track star, and you saw some of his burst of speed capabilities right there to get onto the end of that.
And if you're Duke, you continue to apply this pressure. They look in form, they look fit. This young side coming in, they know who they are. They knew that they were going to have to attack as a collective unit. If you continue to push pressure on Pitt, you feel like there's got to be other opportunities. They've had more of the quality chances throughout this game.
Hey, give John Kerr some credit. He sends on O'Connell in the 58th. But Tim on the left moves Doran to the right, and O'Connell on the scene to tap into an empty net in the 59th minute. Just how you draw it up. Pitt trying to respond. That's broken up by Frick. Doran looking forward for Scotty Taylor out of Millburn, New Jersey, in the Red Bulls Academy. Back to McGarvey. McGarvey really didn't have a whole lot of options there and kind of panicked and just sent it forward. And Pitt will set at the back. 60th minute in our fourth quarterfinal of the day. Number one unbeaten Pitt under some pressure here from a young and hungry Duke team. Spent the regular season struggling to get results despite playing well against some of the top teams in the country. 2-5 regular season, but again, all against top 10 opposition except for the 2 wins over NC State. And showing how competitive they are today against a Pitt team playing its first game in 22 days. Mirkovic looking long for the speed of Bailey. It hit Ian Murphy and knocked back to Pulisic. He does not have hands and calmly returns the favor to Lopez. Peter Stroud's not used to having that kind of room to turn and look around. Only one sub used by Pitt. That's normal for them. Again, you don't know exactly where their fitness is after a mixed bag of training for the last 3 weeks. Some individual workouts, some guys unable to do even that.
And that's a big question mark, and that's why Duke needs to continue to push the pace, put Pitt under pressure, as we've seen throughout this game, and really test their fitness after having a 3-week layoff in terms of games being canceled.
Boy, Daly trying to get into the attack, might have opened up space on Duke's right, Pitt's left. They play into the path of Dexter. All the way through, and Noel's got another. Alexander Dexter right through the hole, vacated when Daly stepped forward, and Noel puts Pitt back in front.
And just as we were saying that Duke needs to continue to put Pitt under pressure, you're starting to see some of the youthfulness for Duke. Daly steps out, leaves themselves exposed on the left-hand side, and this is an easy put away. This is a tap in for Noel.
Valentin Noel does it again. 6 goals in 5 games now. And the first Pitt player to score in 4 straight.
And that's where it has to be a bit of balance for Duke, knowing that you can push the pace. You're having success putting Pitt under pressure, showing the intensity, but these are too easy of giveaways. Ball's lost here, and then Pitt does well to get into advanced positions, attacks quickly, just splits the seam.
And it's right in that spot. Nobody can really cover for Daly, who can match Dexter's speed. It's McGarvey who can't stay with him. It was an interesting look whether that was offside or not, but that's not reviewable, and I don't know that that was a clear look anyway.
But we also have to give Dexter credit because that was a beautiful pass. Anywhere closer to the defender, either would have been nicked in for an own goal or they would have been able to clear it. But they were able to pick it out with precision. It was just composed, easy finish for Noel.
Mirkovic was the one who had the presence of mind to play that ball through on that side of the field looking for Dexter. He's credited with an assist, as is Dexter and Valentin Noel. Goal number 6 on the season, and it sounds like he picked up a yellow card as well, which seems fitting for a guy who had 7 yellow cards and 1 red card last year as a holding mid. Scotty Taylor, the target, dropped by Camposano. He cleaned out his own player, and Pitt fortunate to be able to clear. It was Ordonez and Camposano. Both Spaniards who wind up on the ground.
And you want that from your goalkeeper to come out, to be able to try to make the save. But also you can just see Ordonez making sure it was covered. Both of those two players colliding. Bit of an awkward fall for both of those players.
Boy, I mean, for Duke, you live and die with being young and aggressive, right? And it's worked for them all day today. But they get burned for it on the goal. This is a yellow for delay of game, for taking too long to get a drink at the wrong bench after the goal. That's not the way you pick up a yellow. What's interesting is the box scores, they're still telling us the yellow card earlier for Duke was on Taylor. So I don't know if Stroud or Taylor is playing on a yellow card. Obviously the players should know on the field whether they're carrying one or not. There's Dexter. He had the game-winning goal last year. Right now has the decisive assist to set up Noel's go-ahead goal. We told you it wouldn't end 1-0. Which means whoever meets Notre Dame on Wednesday, it'll be a fascinating contrast because Notre Dame is organized defensively and is not used to playing this wide open a contest. Here's Daly, eager to atone. Finds Doran, that shot's deflected out. Corner kick coming for Duke.
And I imagine we're going to see Pitt sit back a little bit deeper, try to stay compact, limit any opportunities for Duke. And this is where Duke is going to need to be patient, look for set pieces, switch the point of attack, probe, and let things open up.
Frick the target. Daly sending it back in. That's dangerous. Scotty Taylor collided with Walty. Everybody collapsing and yelling. It hits the referee. It changes possession. And that means a drop and a whistle under the new laws this year.
And I like the look from Daly over the top. Just a little ball floated in behind, forcing Pitt to drop back and defend. A little ambitious with the opportunity, the chance.
65th minute, a lot of time left for Duke to chase this. How do you chase with urgency, Lori, without really opening yourself up to the counter?
Keeping the ball moving, switching the point of attack, utilizing the width that we talked about. See if you can move Pitt's defense around and then look to play balls in right in front of the back line where they've had a ton of success in the second half. At the same time, you need to make sure that you have cover, though. If you're going to send players forward, that you at least have some players back, having balance within your squad when you are sending players forward.
Luke Mort comes back in. Started the game, but hadn't heard much from him. Pitt on the run once again. Bailey trying to spring Dexter. Stroud couldn't hold on to that. Duke's still with it, though. Clemson, Virginia in one semifinal on Wednesday, a rematch of last year's ACC title game, won by Virginia 3-1. Notre Dame against the winner of this one in the other semifinal. 6 and 8 Wednesday night on the ACC network. Final Sunday on ESPNU. Ooh. Petkovic slotting it through. Dexter trying to run it down. Couldn't keep it on the field of play. And that'll be a goal kick for Will Pulisic. Here's how we got here. Jackson Walty opened the scoring for Pitt. But the second half, Lori, has really opened up.
Yeah, absolutely has. And this is a good goal from O'Connell just to follow up the Periano shot initially. But then it would be Pitt that would come right back down. Quick counter attack, Noel with the easy tap in off the ball from Dexter.
Yeah, you called it. That pass from Dexter was inch perfect. And that'll open some eyes of professional teams, whether it's MLS, whether it's USL. That play's going to be on his highlight reel, you have a feeling, whenever the time comes to go pro.
And he has been a handful down the left-hand side, and I really like what he brings to this Pitt team. Dropping back deep if needed, just help set play, but also recognizing where the space is. And he was really the one that understood when Daly left that space vacant on the right-hand side to exploit that area and just turned on the jets to be able to get in behind, to be able to initially play that ball into Noel for the go-ahead goal.
So many decisions still to come on that side of things for MLS and NWSL. How do they handle players who would be seniors with this year's off season? Obviously, players have a year of extra eligibility. They can come back. They have the spring season they can play. But professional teams might be interested in adding them in the winter window. So we'll have to see what the teams, leagues, and the NCAA work out. It's obviously not a huge priority right now. There's some bigger fish to fry.
But I'm also curious to see how they handle that going forward, because there's a lot of coaches that have advocated for this 2-semester season. They talked about it, the recovery time, the ability to be able to grow their team, play one game a week, and to be able to split it into 2 semesters. A lot of enjoyment outside of the fact, the reason why we are playing a limited schedule. A lot of coaches, so they really enjoyed this season so far.
It's got the support of the men's coaches, that's pretty clear. It's the women's side where the 2-semester season is really not in vogue. Luke Pepperack just into the game, and he went into an American football challenge, it looked like. There's the Duke women's team. It's like a news flash that Pitt's used 2 different substitutes in the game now. You don't see that all that often. Luffelzen draws the foul. Free kick for Pitt, and it looks like he's going to milk it. You might want to stop the clock here. Yeah, they will. Gives us a chance to tell you about In Play Tuesday night, 8 o'clock Eastern here on the ACC Network. Kelsey Riggs and EJ Manuel will discuss the conference's hot topics, interview legendary players and coaches, and take an inside look at what it's like to be an ACC athlete. You can watch it right here on ACC Network and via, of course, the ESPN app. Stephen O'Connell's on a yellow card. He didn't do anything there that would have earned him a second. There's nothing in this.
Well, it's well done from Luffelzen just to be able to get his body in between O'Connell and the ball. But these are the moments where Duke needs to be careful, look for opportunities to keep the ball in play, not allow for these fouls to happen, because this is going to play into the hands of Pitt to be able to disrupt play, allow clock to run off, allow time to run off the clock. When you're chasing the game, you have to be able to do all you can to continue to find the rhythm, give yourself the opportunities to find the back of the net.
Well, and managing that frustration, right? We saw it with Stroud and his reaction earlier. Amir Daly got sent off in a game earlier this year for a really needless second yellow card. Now you got a bunch of guys on yellows, including some younger players. They have to make sure they stay on the field and keep their team with 11.
And besides the result so far of this game, Duke should be incredibly proud of how it's gone. Controlled the majority of the play, put Pitt under a lot of pressure, left themselves vulnerable in a few spots. But for how young this team is, really good performance throughout this game.
And Lori, I mean, that kind of sums up Duke's fall season, right? The record, not great, 2-5 right now. You're staring at 2-6. If you had another couple of finishers, and you don't want to disrespect the upperclassmen who have given so much to the program, but the finishing is not quite at the same level as the other parts of Duke's game this fall. That's just evident if you've watched the games. And you give them another year, get another class in here, pretty dangerous group.
It certainly is, and even Pitt knew that coming in. Jay Vidovich had talked to us about that. Their record isn't indicative of how the season's gone. Quality side, knew it was going to be a handful for his team. Exposed some of the weaknesses for Pitt in terms of being able to unbalance their back line if you put them under pressure.
It's Dexter. Duke lined up 2 bodies against him, which was a good idea. '73rd minute, Pitt trying to get to 6-0 and to the ACC semifinals for the 2nd straight year. Dexter applying the pressure to the youngster Daly. A couple of New York kids squaring off. Foul is against Pitt, even though it's a Pitt player down. It was behind the play, so I didn't see the challenge. It'll be a free kick, and you can see 10 Gardarson right on top of it for Duke, looking forward to sending this in. He's terrific on dead balls. And it's Crivelo, the left back, who's shaken up. Crivelo, 22-year-old sophomore, raised in Bordeaux, France. You saw the foul right against the sideline. If Pitt should win, their semifinal would be right here against Notre Dame. And again, if Duke were to come back and advance, the Blue Devils would face Notre Dame over at UNC. Here's the decisive play in the game. Daly trying to go forward. The 1-2 is broken up, and here's the pass from Mirkovic. Spots Dexter, inch perfect, and now watch the offside line. Is Noel past the last defender?
And from that angle, it does look like he is past the last defender. But as you said, Jonathan, earlier on after the goal, it's not reviewable. And I'm still looking at just the recognition from Dexter. Passes on Daly defensively, but then realizes when the turnover happens where the opportunities are, and he just takes off and finds that space in between that opens up that play.
Boy, it's risky anytime you put your hand on a ref, even if it's that friendly a touch. You don't want to get Thierry Henry sent off for giving somebody a love tap on the back of the head.
And there's been a lot of stoppage with the referee. The game has been physical, but not enough, in my opinion, to warrant the amount of talking to for the players and the coaches.
75th minute. Gardarson. Frick couldn't connect with it. Could hear the yell from Soren Stoica that it would be a blue throw. O'Connell trying to get a good grip and a good run up. McGarvey was the target at the near post, frustrated with how that turned out.
And in the end, this ball looked a lot more dangerous than I initially thought. Frick just jumps too early. And in the end, it was bending away from him, even though with his attempt, he would have won that battle if he would have been able to connect with it. Just jumping heads over heels above everyone else for Pitt's defense.
Filip Mirkovic, number 21, just checked back into that Pitt midfield after sitting out for about 10 minutes. Veljko Petkovic still out, with this man, Luke Peperak, chasing things. Second brother in that family to play for Jay Vidovic at Pitt. Brother Alex just finished up last year, in time for Luke to step in. Neat footwork by Noel, trying to feed Luke Mort. Curious when we'll see Duke go to 3 at the back here. They played that last year and at the very beginning of this season.
I don't think you need to go until at least 7 minutes left to go. If you haven't gotten the equalizer
that late.
Coach Kerr talked to us about going into the 3-5-2, push a player forward. Yeah, you don't want to leave yourself exposed. This is still so much time. 7 minutes is still a lot of time as well. You just need a split second to get the goal. And with the amount of pressure, it's hard to see this game open up. I mean, there's a 2-back right now for Duke.
Dexter hits the outside of the net. I'm not sure that they haven't already done it.
And this game has opened up. You see Daly and it's Murphy, the lone two backs. And the way that Dexter's been playing this game, he'll take the 1v1 matchup against any of the Duke defenders.
I think they're in a three-back, Lori, because number 5, Lopez, is playing up as a second forward.
I agree too, and this is the balancing act though, because if you're going to go this early, 13 minutes, still plenty of time, but you really do leave yourself susceptible in behind the back line. You have to make sure, I mean, at this point in time, you don't care if you lose 3-1, but you still have to give yourself an opportunity to equalize this game.
I love it. Go for it. Be aggressive. He's fitting right in with this group and this mentality of the fall season for Duke. There's not a lot to lose.
Well, my only pushback on it is you have to have that balancing act of keeping possession and looking for the best opportunities. If you start flying forward, it's going to be a long 12 minutes.
Peperak, square, right to Pulisic from outside.
But if that's all you're going to give up to Pitt, then I'd take that all day.
Right.
I'm still laughing that he got the talking to because it feels like he's been in the same position the entire match.
Oh, he was jumping around. He was jumping around in the first half for a bit. So you can see the 3 at the back for Duke. It's Murphy here, Frick with the armband in the middle, and Daly on the far side. The only 3 defenders out there now. Periano through the middle. I don't really know what position Antino Lopez is playing now. I guess we'll see. O'Connell, too crowded in there, dwelled on the ball and turned it over. Krivalo gonna take his time and get a whistle from Soren Stoica. I guess there's a man down as well. That's Noel.
And credit to Pitt coming in here, knowing that it was going to be a difficult game against Duke, weathering the storm, finding the rhythm, putting away their chances. That's not easy when you haven't played games in 3 weeks.
And we've talked a lot about Duke. They're the underdog. They're a young team. Maybe they're exceeding expectations in how tight this game is. But the turnaround at Pitt, Lori, led by Jay Vidovich, even in this strange season, it's very real, and it's going to continue beyond COVID times.
It is. I even liked when we were chatting with him leading up to this game, talked about the international players he had, and he said the college game is going the same direction as the pro game, getting more international influence, bringing players in, making an impact right away. Really done a good job with this program, molding the type of player, and you've seen this, and we keep reiterating the fact that they've had this layoff, cancellation of games, but just the understanding of how they want to play has carried them through.
I am very curious to see, though, if this success gives them many more recruiting options within the U.S., right? You go get international players and transfers. That's a quick fix to get you back to competitiveness. Will he choose to prioritize the American player and the MLS Academy system as some teams do? Or will he try to be as multicultural as they are now, or aim for some mix?
I would think it's a mix, and I would absolutely think it would entice players, American players, to come to this program. It's a fun style of play. They're energetic. They have craftiness involved. They want to take risks. It's exciting, and that's what you want to go to a program for, a team that believes in themselves.
Lopez is on a yellow card. That was really silly. He could be gone. Nope, he's going to get the foul call before that. He was frustrated at the foul on the play, which Soren Stoica evidently spotted, because otherwise that frustrated push out could have seen him ejected, Lori.
Yeah, unnecessary challenge. And it goes back to what you were saying, which is the frustration of some of these players chasing this game late in the second half. Both of these players battling. And that should be a yellow card. He's lucky he didn't get one. Blatant push in the back.
He threw Bryce Washington down right into the advertising signs, and it turns into track there rather than grass. So that's not a surface you want to be sliding on. Washington evidently okay. This is an indirect free kick, is the signal from Stoika that he whistled that foul as obstruction rather than a foul. So it's indirect. McGarvey couldn't connect cleanly at the back post. It is still a Duke throw. That did not seem that advisable. They had two players on McGarvey who was standing beyond O'Connell's range, and he threw it to him anyway. Here's Matthias Frick, senior from Austria, one of the most experienced Blue Devils.
And that's the right switch point of attack, but just too quick. Just take it down, look to see if you can create, find a dangerous cross in the box when you get numbers in.
Alexander Dexter and Pitt trying to see this out and get back to the semifinals. It was Luffelsen. I'm going to pronounce that name right like one time tonight, and I'm going to go with that. Put that on my highlight reel. Luffelsen. Neat touch from O'Connell at the beginning of that play, kind of showing some of his ability. Duke still with it. Pitt content to defend here and certainly eyeing the counterattack as it opens up. Periano. Too much on that pass. Scotty Taylor was offside anyway. It'll be a Pitt free kick. Great look at the step by Bryce Washington. The trailing center back just stopped at the right time to leave Taylor off.
Well done from Pitt. Otherwise, it'd be a wide open opportunity for Taylor. But it's better patience from Duke. We've seen Pitt starting to drop off defensively. Now it's going to be about Duke just probing, finding good chances, being patient. Don't always need to create the best opportunities by going at a fast pace. Wait till the opportunities open up and the seams open up.
Final 7 minutes in Raleigh, separating Pitt and a second straight appearance in the ACC semifinals. Bailey wiggles free, has Dexter running behind, and Frick denied the first pass. Pitt still with it. Bailey the target, straight up the middle. Peperak. Everybody crashing the box. And it's a miss hit in the end, right to Pulisic. Duke preferring to carry forward rather than pump the long ball. Now Murphy too high for Taylor, and that's just going to waste time. Turned over. Lopez won it for Duke. Has numbers, drives it himself, knocked down by Washington. Taylor's delivery hit the outside of the post. Duke starting to threaten. Gardarson wins a throw-in. 5 minutes and change remaining.
And what an interesting sequence that was. Poor giveaway out of the back from Pitt, resulted in the opportunities for Duke.
I thought Campazano was going to wait and pick it up and give a big clear. Instead, tried to play out of the back. Another throw for Gardarson and Duke. Go back to that last scrambled exchange.
And here's a quick turnover, well read by Lopez. No one steps to him, so he almost has more time and space than he thinks, but takes an awkward bounce from Washington off his head.
Oh, Frick hesitated, opens up. Noel back in the game. They stopped the clock to get him back in. Because when the sub comes from the winning team in the last 5 minutes, the clock stops. Duke still with time.
And this is where you start to just throw bodies forward, get players into the box, look for any second balls, knockdowns.
McGarvey, number 4, going to be primary target for Duke on a lot of these. Frick, number 3, now up there as well. Clock will run as Pitt casually looks for a new ball.
And for Pitt, just kick it out of bounds. Waste time as much as you possibly can. A little bit of gamesmanship. Disrupt the play. Whereas Duke on the other side will be trying to keep it in, trying to find some sort of rhythm to be able to create an opportunity these last few minutes.
O'Connell's delivery found Stroud, his shot deflected away. Here's Noel for Pitt with Dexter. These two can be devastating. Oh, Duke couldn't recover that even after the deflection, and Pitt can take more time off the clock. Trying to extend their stay in North Carolina and play here on Wednesday against Notre Dame. Oh, Walty into the tackle to win it back. Cleanly. If you're Duke, this is too long. You need the ball back. It's not that easy, of course.
No, and credit to Pitt, though. Just the maturity to switch the point of attack, just keep the ball moving, looking for an open play, not trying to make anything complex, just simplify the game. Almost got caught in another turnover, but you can see the maturity in their understanding of how to close out some games.
Lovel's end. All kinds of space opening up. He can't turn it down. To Dexter. Blasted clear by O'Connell, but who will pick up the second ball? Position for Luke Mort, and he wins a free kick that may kill 30 seconds here. Watch the clock. That foul was at 1:30.
And if you're Pitt, I'm not even sure you need to serve this ball in. Just get somebody near it, keep possession. Not an advocate of always going to the corner, but do whatever you can to waste time.
Noel's free kick cleared away by Frick, under a minute. Duke free kick. Hasn't stopped the clock, though, which is what the Blue Devils would like. Gardarsson waves everybody forward. Little pinball fell to Periano. Now Crivellot ahead to Dexter. Daly needed to make that tackle, but still may not be enough. Offside flag is up. Noel did well to hold his frustration, but there's not going to be enough time unless it's a miracle. Ball was still moving. That was time wasted. And Pitt is on to the ACC semifinals again. 2 years in a row for the Panthers. They go 3 weeks without a game.